Good morning, people. Stephen here on the day of Manchester City's game against Feyenoord in the Champions League, 8 p.m. tonight at the Etihad Stadium. Feels weird to say this, given it's it's not mid-November, late November, but it's only a third of the way through the season, and it's still halfway through the league format stage. But it feels like a must-win game tonight, doesn't it? Which is wild, but that is where we're at right now. It's very weird to be here, but that's the reality of Manchester City's current situation. So today, of course, I'm going to preview the game, go through the team news, talk about Guardiola's quotes, De Bruyne's quotes from the press conference too, and sort of try and predict the 11 and talk about what this game means tonight, while, of course, looking at Feyenoord a little bit, because there's lots to take in and lots to discuss and lots to talk about. Of course, if you are watching live, please do get involved in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on tonight's game. Let me know how you're currently feeling about things. Are you stressed? Are you sort of relaxed? Do you see a bigger picture? Do you think it's a bigger crisis than it is? There's so many different viewpoints, all of them valid in their own ways. Let me know where you're at. Tell hello to Ryan in the chat. It is a weird time, mate. It is a weird time right now to be a City fan. And I would argue probably something that most of you aren't used to. A lot of people who are younger than myself probably aren't used to this. I mean, I am. I've seen it, obviously, in a very different level, but I've seen City lose a lot of games in a row before, so this isn't new ground for me. But it is new ground for this Manchester City side. It's new ground being tread, whatever, for Guardiola. So it's going to be fascinating to see how they respond to it. But I feel sort of buoyed by Guardiola's sort of bullish reply to questions about where City are right now. He's inexcusably and quite confidently come out and talked about how this is Manchester City right now. So give me my players back and I'll show you. But anyway, let's talk about what this game actually means. Look, 5 losses in a row. Look, it's been absolutely catastrophic. We can't deny that. We're in a really weird place where I think we all accept that things aren't great right now, that things look a little bit negative. I'll go obviously over to the Spurs game once again. We'll go through that. And there's the Spurs game from the other day when we lost 4-0. There were the stats from that game. City did actually create a lot of chances. Probably should have scored a few goals. And the run of results right now it doesn't make for pretty reading when we go through it. Of course, the 4-0 loss, 2-1 at Brighton, 4-1 against Sporting, 2-1 against Bournemouth, 2-1 against Spurs before that. So 2 losses to Spurs in a row there. At some point though, you would think that this has to end. You would think and feel that, City have to turn it around at some point. Like, they can't lose every single game in a row forever. And we are going to win. We are going to win a game inside the next month or so. It might even be tonight. And we are going to have a good performance, and it is going to change. We could win tonight and then lose at Liverpool as well. So I don't think tonight is going to be representative of where City are at either way. If we lose or win, it's one of those things that if the run carries on, if we win, I don't think City are back. But it would be welcome. And I'm in a sort of place where I'm reasonably calm about it, because I think this season could be a little bit of a write-off, but I still think we'll get Champions League football. And I do think Guardiola is absolutely set on sort of overseeing the rebuild and creating a great Manchester City side again. I think Guardiola is really motivated by this. I think Guardiola doesn't take failure lightly. As much as he's got a lot of perspective these days, I think Guardiola is a serial winner, and serial winners don't accept failure. They don't like losing. And I think, if anything, we've seen the reaction from Guardiola. He's staying for another 2 years. And I think that is honestly a reaction to the squad not being in a great place right now. So I think Guardiola is very much hell-bent on sorting this. And I think the quotes that have come out since he signed his contract prove that. I don't think we're in a full-on crisis, like in terms of, I don't think City have imploded and that's it forever. I think we're in a very, 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 very bad spell. I think there is circumstantial to an extent. I do agree that the injuries have played a massive part of it. Injuries to certain kind of players. I also do agree that it's been coming a little bit. Look, this was always going to happen to some degree after that much success. It's impossible. When you're at the top for so long, there is going to be a crash at some point, and this is Manchester City's crash, and it's a combination of injuries, not the right players, maybe taking your eye off the ball by 1%. And when you do that by that 1%, it's not always intentional. It's just life catches up with you a little bit. So I think this is where City are right now. I would be more concerned if City didn't know. He didn't know that there was a problem. I think it's very obvious that City know what's going on here. Everything I've read, I suspect City are planning to be aggressive and fix this. It will just take a bit of time. So I'm reasonably calm, because I don't think we're I don't think we don't know what the problems are. I think City do know what the problems are. So go to the press conference anyway. As you can see there, a little bit of news. Doku is back in training, which is great news there. Doku is very useful, especially in a game like this. I don't think Doku's still really impacted games at the highest level yet, but against a team like Feyenoord, Doku could be very, very useful. Diaz is back in training, which is huge news. Ruben Diaz is, to me, one of the linchpins of this Manchester City side. He's fundamental to how Manchester City play. Sadly, John Stones was absent. I don't know if John Stones... By the way, John Stones starting the other day and then being absent now is sort of proof, by the way, that... Look, and Puneet in the chat say you can't stay fit. John Stones, if everyone was fit, if Diaz was fit and Ake Akanji were fully fit, John Stones just wouldn't be playing. And I think what's happening right now is we're essentially patching players back up, giving them painkillers, injections and all that kind of stuff, and then telling them to get on with it because they have to. I think so many players are playing that would not be playing if the squad was in a better shape right now. And I don't think we could ignore that fact, and we can moan about John Stones not being fit, and he always isn't. But people like Akanji are struggling with fitness, and Akanji's not injury prone. He's struggling with fitness right now because we're forcing him back on the pitch when he's not fully ready. So they're getting these little niggles and a little bit of pain here and there and discomfort. And this is the problem we've got. Everyone's tired. Everyone's playing too much football. And then they're being forced back quicker because other people are out. And you get this sort of vicious circle and cycle of players being put back onto the pitch when they're only 70% fit, and then they're not. Then by the next game they disappear again. We're seeing players come back in for one game, then going, one game, then going, and it's even players that are sometimes quite reliable. So this is the problem right now. We're forcing players back, and I know John Stones is a sort of exception to that because he's always injured. But when it's people like Akanji, I don't know, man. He's not that unreliable. So this is where we're at right now. Anyway, but to me, Diaz being back is good news, There was some quotes from the areas in training there. Look, Ruben Diaz is monumental. There's the players in training. I saw some people getting annoyed at players smiling, by the way. Don't fall into that trap online. They are human beings. If you have a bad day at work 3 days ago, you're not walking around for 3 days with a sad face. You're human beings, man. You don't get anything from being sad all the time because that's negative. You gotta enjoy your friends and company with people. So there's them. Look, I want to see the players in a good mood because people who are happy do better. That's just how it is. That's called perspective, So I don't mind that these players are looking happy because you have to be happy. Sad people don't do well in life. They just don't. I'm sorry. That's a fact. De Bruyne talked about Savinho a little bit. He said he started really well. Obviously, these moments where it becomes a little difficult when you're not going to score your first goal, maybe he gets a little anxious about that. De Bruyne said, but he seems relaxed. He's done a good job. It's not easy now in a moment where it gets a little more difficult for the team to help out, but especially in the beginning of the season, he's doing really good. I don't think he should be anxious about anything. He started really well, and we'll try to pick him up and help him score his first City goal. Look, I'm sure if De Bruyne was on the pitch, he'll score his first City goal. In a different world, by the way, say we'd had Oscar Bob was fit, or even we had an experienced winger like Mahrez, I think Savinho would have played half as much football, but probably would have scored his first goal. Do you get what I mean by that? So if Oscar Bob was there and we could rotate more, I don't think Savinho would have been forced to play as much, and I don't think he would have felt the pressure as much, and I think he probably would have come off the bench and scored when we were 3-0 up or something like that. How often did Mahrez come off the bench, by the way, and just score because the game was nearly dead? Basically, I feel like if Savinho was in the team 2 years ago, he would have been having such an easier time. But we've led on Savinho a lot, so I think De Bruyne is right on that. I think Savinho is not a problem. I think he started well, but I think there's a lot of pressure on a 20-year-old who's just joined the country, and he's having to do too much. And I think, yeah. Puny, in the chat, look, mate, you don't watch a game just because you think it's going to be good. You're a football fan, you watch it anyway, mate. I'm not going to not watch a game because Kyle Walker's playing, even though I don't rate him. That's not how it works, pal. Guardiola said, why should I change the way we play? When we won 6 Premier League titles in 7 years, when I won 11 titles in 14 years, 3 Champions League titles, why should I change? Because I lose games? Oh my God, that would be a problem. And he's bang on, by the way. I must admit, look at this. Look at the state of that comment there at the bottom. Someone saying, hey, look at that, saying Pep out and all that kind of stuff. Is this guy serious? Why? Like, come on, man. The arrogance to tell Guardiola how to manage a football team. When you read that record out loud, 6 in 7, 11 titles in 14 years, 3 Champions League titles. Guardiola is absolutely right. You don't change how you play because you lose a few games. You change, like, you improve the players, you coach better, you get everyone back from fitness and maybe make some signings, but you don't just drop your philosophy because you lose a few games. Like, it's unbelievable to do that. And I actually like Guardiola coming out having the ego. I agree with the comment in the top comment there. Like, good on Guardiola to come out and go, don't be stupid. I'm not going to throw away my entire philosophy because of a bad month. And he's absolutely right. And I also like this other comment from Guardiola here, who says, give me my players back and you'll see. It's difficult to play without 4 centre-backs, 2 holding midfielders, the best player in the world for Rodri for a whole season, and only 1 winger. Yes, because we had Savinho out at one point, Grealish out at one point, Doku out at one point, no Oscar Bob. Kovacic is out, Rodri's out, 4 centre-backs are out. He's absolutely right. De Bruyne has been out. He's bang on right. You can't talk about Guardiola. He said, give me my players back and you'll see Man City. And he's right. Give him his players that he's assembled and trained, and then we'll see Manchester City. And people talk about it being excuses. It's just true. Like, why do people react like... I don't get why people are acting like this isn't an unprecedented amount of injuries when all your centre-backs are out. Look, I know some of it is down to poor squad building, I agree, but it is a crazy set of circumstances. But anyway, let's go into the team news. And by the way, I forgot to say, my watch-along tonight is on bigup.com. It's fixed these little bugs that meant I had to do the watch-along on YouTube the other day. Join me tonight on bigup.com/Esteemed Kompany. The link is in the description. I'll be there for my watch-along tonight. So let's try and predict the team anyway. So here's how we lined up against Spurs. I know you don't want to see it again, but that's how we lined up against Spurs there. Ederson, Walker, Stones, Akanji, Vardiol, Rico Lewis, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Haaland, and Savinho. I'll go to how we lined up against Lisbon because that feels like a decent reference point given it was the Champions League. That was Ederson in goal, Vardiol, Akanji, Simpson, Pusey, Rico Lewis, Kovacic, Savinho, Foden, Bernardo, Nunes, and Haaland. If you go back to the Spurs game and see who's on the bench, it'll give you a good indicator of who could start this game. I do wonder how many changes we'll see. Grealish was there, De Bruyne was there, Jacob Wright, Nunes and McAtee. So I feel... so in terms of this team, what's your 11, everyone? So mate, it's not Ten Hag at all. It's an absolute fact, mate. What is Ten Hag? He talks about 6 out of 7 leagues playing a certain way. You don't just drop. These players play in that style. It's just fitness and injuries and form and confidence. You don't drop your style. You don't throw everything away just because you lose a few games in a row. No. He's absolutely right. He's had 15 years of success playing a certain way in every league he's played for. Like, just because you lose a few games, you don't adapt your whole system and play different football. No, of course you don't. You get your players back, and that's called confidence and convictions. I would argue it's sort of like panicky and fearful to just bin 10 years of playing a certain way at City because you're in a bad spell. Like, no, of course you don't. Of course you don't. Like, you ride through the punches sometimes. You have to go. Look, I'm sure there'll be some slight adaptations, but the core principles stay the same. That's not to say, like, Guardiola, he has changed the formation a little bit, by the way. The Spurs game was a different formation to the Brighton game. Didn't work, but anyway. Nunes is not a defensive midfielder. That'll be why, mate. Nunes is not a defensive midfielder. So it'll be Ederson in goal anyway. Look, you guys know how I feel about Nunes. I think he's a good player, but some people feel like Nunes is the solution, and he just isn't, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why some of you need to hear this. Nunes isn't the solution. He just isn't. Vardiol's going to play. I think Walker sits something out. I think it will be Rico Lewis at right back. Ake will play. I'm hoping... No, I think it'll be Diaz and Akanji. I think it'll be that. I think Rico will start at right back. I think Walker. I'm hoping this man is back today, De Bruyne. I'm hoping he gets a run out. I think Grealish will get a start. I think he'll play Foden on this side. And I think he's going to go for Gundogan and Bernardo. This is my prediction. I hope he sees O'Reilly. I think it'll be this. I think it'll be something like this. I'm hoping it'll be like this. Like, I'm hoping it'll be something like that. And look, I know that's not the greatest midfield. It isn't. It isn't the greatest midfield, but what we meant to do there, man. Maybe he'll play Nunes here instead of Gundogan, but he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it, is he? He isn't. I don't know. That would be, like, what? I'd take that, by the way, Silva and Nunes behind De Bruyne. But I don't think Guardiola wants to play Nunes here because he doesn't rate him as a central midfielder. So, I don't know. I can see Gundogan sitting this one out. I just hope this guy here, De Bruyne, is available. It'd be nice if he had the sort of balls to do. Yeah, Michael, he's not going to drop Haaland, mate. But Haaland could do the rest, by the way. So I wouldn't be against the false 9. If you could have, I'll put Gundogan there, and then I'll bring Silva over here. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. Maybe Savinho gets a start. Silva goes over here. I wouldn't be against that if you wanted to rest Haaland. You know, something like that, where you sort of play the two, something like that. Maybe Doku comes back into the team. Maybe Doku gets a start. I don't think he will do. I think Grealish is probably ready for a start. We'll see. I'd like to see Nunes to get a play in midfield too, but he's not going to. I don't think Guardiola rates him that much. Maybe don't risk a Kanji for Diaz for Liverpool. Maybe you're right, Nicosia there. Maybe you're right. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I haven't got a clue what he'll do because I don't know how fit anyone is. It's so hard to judge right now, isn't it? It's really, really hard to judge. As for Feyenoord, what do we make of them? Look, Feyenoord right now, their standings, so where are they currently in the Champions League table? City are currently 10th, by the way. I still hate this format. I hate it with passion. I will never like it. We're currently 10th. Feyenoord are 21st. Out of 36. So stupid. They've had a decent game. Decent start to the Champions League group. They did lose last time out, I think. Yeah, who was it they lost to? I can't remember. Salzburg 3-1, I think. And they also got their captain sent off, which was a big... Not captain, one of their best players, their chief playmaker sent off, which were... What's he called again? Yeah, Kevin Naj was given a straight red card in the last game. Though they had a couple of wins already as well. They beat Girona 3-2 and Benfica 3-1. So they've had some good results. Who the hell is Brest? That's a French team, my friend. But they're doing quite well, Fair play to them. Up in 4th there. Simpson Pusey will be in the squad, mate. I think it's just down to fitness and all that kind of stuff. So I think we've got to be realistic about Simpson Pusey. Like, I think he'll play the odd game here and there, and then he'll be rested. But anyway, as for Feyenoord, they are in a decent run of form. I think they've won 6 out of 7, I think, domestically or something like that. The last 6 out of 7 games, I don't know. But either way, they are missing quite a few players anyway. They've got a bit of an injury crisis too, as it currently stands. They've got Santiago Gomez out, their striker. They've got their first choice keeper Justin Biljo out. Quinton Timber, the Arsenal fella's brother, he's their captain. He's out as well. Though they have trained, so they might be involved. But they've also got Bueno out. They've got Ueda, Osman, Hartman. They've got a few players out too, so they're expecting quite a few players to be missing as well. So, look, I still feel like City will respond tonight. I'm pretty relaxed and pretty confident that City will actually win tonight. I think if De Bruyne and Diaz can get on the pitch, then we've got a chance. I think De Bruyne raised the level of everyone around him when he came on the other day, and I think that is the key for City. City's midfield right now and team is absolutely... It's knackered and it's soft. It is. I do feel weirdly, if some of these chances go in, like if we'd scored 2 against Spurs in that first half, I think we would have won that game. I think Spurs are so fragile that it would have changed around. We might have not, but I think City's problem right now is the confidence is just so low. It dips almost immediately. But it'll change, and we'll find the confidence again if we get a couple of goals early on. The problem is we're missing chances, and then as soon as they score, we're dropping our heads and we're losing it. But we are crapping both boxes, but that's not going to last forever, Iptris. The thing is, goal scoring is all about confidence, isn't it? If one or two players, I think De Bruyne will help that, by the way. He brings urgency. I agree with Michael in the chat, and everything moves quicker around him. So if De Bruyne is on the pitch, I do think the confidence is there because the players believe. They just do. De Bruyne has that incredible presence and aura. So if we do get, if we find a little bit of luck in front of goal, one of the chances goes in, I think we'll have a different story, hopefully. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe we bottle it again. I don't know loads about Feyenoord. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm an expert on Feyenoord. We'll see. We will see. So we have to win this either way because as Double Dog pointed out in the chat, Juve and PSG are next. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave it there. My watch along will be tonight on bigup.com. The link is in the description. I'll see you there. Let me know your predictions in the chat. Come on, you Blues. Not another loss tonight. Another win. It's got to be. In a bit. Bye-bye.